The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
Welcome to Social Suplex Radio. Jeremy Donovan here along with the young boy Josh Smith. We are here live at ACW here in Newport Richey, and we have a very special interview today with the international superstars Joey Ozbourne and Blanco Loco.
Hello, how are you?
It's good. How are you guys doing, man?
Not too bad, not too bad.
So yeah, man, thank you guys for having us out here.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, you know, Joey, we first saw you at a Tampa Bay Pro show. I don't exactly remember who you were working, but we were really impressed by your work, and I know you were a big heel, and we were kind of giving you some heat and
thank you.
trying to get you over because we
made
saw
my job easier.
Yeah, we saw how smooth you were in the ring, and then
you actually got up in Jeremy's face.
I'm sorry.
No,
I'm
dude.
sorry. We're friends now.
Yeah.
We're hugging. You can't see us, but we're hugging.
Hug it out.
We hugged it out.
But so I mean, we met up in New Orleans over WrestleMania weekend, and we were like, gotta have this guy on the podcast, and we got Blanco Loco with us right now too.
I'm just add on. I'm your +1.
Oh, thank you.
And you guys are you're the international superstars, right?
Yes, sir. We are. We are.
Cool.
So I saw you. Sorry to cut you off. I saw you. Which show was it? I saw you at.
Well, the first time I said what's up was at the Super Show.
Yeah, because at the Super Show, we were like, Joey, and you were like...
And I was like, looked around, I was like, who the hell are you guys?
You were like, how
Not
do you...
to be an ass, I'm sorry, but I was like, who are these guys? Like, how do these guys know me?
Yeah.
I was like, who are these guys? And then I spoke to you guys outside the second Kaiju show after Mania, didn't I?
Yeah.
And then you told me who you were and where you saw me.
Well, we saw you at the FIP show.
Also, yeah.
Earlier in February, you wrestled Francisco Shiatsu, I think his name.
Yeah, Shiatsu, I think.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the people, because that was your first time in FIP, is that right?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't think a lot of the people necessarily had seen your work yet, but we knew who you were, so we were like,
oh, Joey Ozbourne's here.
And so we got the chant going there, so we were, we're big marks for you.
Thank you. I need all the fans I can get.
It's the accent, man.
It's the accent. It's the accent.
Yeah.
So we got some questions for you guys. So obviously, this isn't a life that everybody chooses to go into. It's, there's only so many people that do what you guys do. So what convinced you to go into pro wrestling?
I used to watch it on TV when I was a kid. The first time I watched it, I switched on Channel 4 in the UK, which at the time was one of the standard channels. You only used to have 5 channels. And Sunday Night Heat was on.
Oh,
and
nice.
It was a rerun from SmackDown, The Rock against Big Show for the #1 contendership against Kurt Angle at No Way Out 01. And I just watched that and I thought, geez, this is pretty cool. So I carried on watching it from there. I got my neighbour across the driveway from me to it was Mania 17, 2001. Yeah, Mania 17, 2001. I asked her to record it and woke her up at 7 a.m. the next day to get the tape because I wanted to watch it before school. And then I've kind of been hooked since then, and I got tickets for a WWE show for my 18th birthday from my brother and sister, and I went there. We got there late. First thing I saw when I walked in was Shelton Benjamin giving Carlito a drop kick, and I was like, oh, that ring makes a noise in like a 16,000 seater stadium. I was like, this is cool. I want to do this. So I was kind of hooked.
Nice.
What about you, Loco?
I grew up around the business. I'm originally from Syracuse, New York. My uncle used to do security for WWF whenever they came in the town and everything like that. He's actually one of the security guys that was supposed to be on duty when Michaels got beat up by the Marines. But they called off all security, like, oh, we're good, we don't need any of that. So I kind of got, the feel of it when I was young. I got to go in the back locker rooms with the guys, meet like people like Mabel. And it's just kind of like, it stuck with me. My family's a big wrestling family, so literally I had 2 different televisions going on, Monday Night Raw, Monday Night Nitro, ECW, and my grandmother would always tape all of them. So it's kind of like, product of my environment almost.
Yeah. Now, yeah, for me, I was definitely a big channel flipper too, growing up between Raw and Nitro, but Shawn Michaels was always my favorite wrestler. Who was your guys' favorite when you were watching growing up?
Definitely The Rock. which would be, which most people don't expect. They're like, oh, Rey Mysterio or Jushin Thunder Liger, Ruben Guerrero. I'm like, no.
La Parka.
La Parka. And they're always like, you're a luchador, so you're a masked wrestler, why don't you, what? It's not that I don't like them. It's just more the fact, like, especially nowadays, you know the Rock's story, you know what I'm saying? You know that he went from being, broke to being this, cosmic superstar.
Right.
And that's more of what I really, strive to be, because, I started out from nothing, and, wrestling's all I'm doing now. And, it's actually, my life force right now, realistically. It's what I'm living off of. And we're traveling so much together. We're wrestling everywhere now that we're able to make it, a nice little chunk of change off of it. So it's something that we want to keep on pursuing and keep pushing.
So you said that you grew up in the business. Joey, I did some research in it. You made your pro debut in 2008, right?
Yeah, May 2008.
Nice. So where did you guys start your training, and how long you've been doing this? Tell us a little bit about that.
I trained at FCW, not the FCW of Florida, the FCW in Dudley in the West Midlands in the United Kingdom. And I was trained by Mark Hogan and Kevin O'Neill, two guys that were trained old school. So I was kind of I was on the fringe of being the last group of trainees that were brought in the old school way. You go in the ring, you get the crap beaten out of you for about a year or something, and then you get your first win after that. You get brought in the right way, you get taught respect for the business. You get there early, you set up, you stay late, you tear down. I always tried to be the first one in and the last one out. 9 times out of 10 I was, unless I had a family commitment. And then I was with them for about 2 or 3 years. Stopped training, got out there as much as I could on the road to try and earn, as much, what's what I'm looking for, experience about the jobs I could. And then I moved to Norwich in 2011, and I moved in with the Knight family. Probably better known as Paige's mom and dad,
right? Yeah,
WWE.
Yeah.
And I learned more from them than I could ever possibly learn anywhere else. And I went there and I thought I was good. I had this ego thinking, I've been working 4 years. I'm, already halfway there to being like a really, really good wrestler. And I swiftly learned there that I wasn't a very good wrestler. I was actually probably the worst wrestler who was there when I moved down there. And they basically pulled me apart and they put me back together again, but they put me back together again 10 times better than I would have been had I not gone there. So, a lot of what you see me doing in the ring today, the kind of style I do, I owe all of that to them, because, as I said, they pulled me apart, they put me back together again. They basically made chicken salad out of chicken crap, basically.
Yeah, that's something I want to ask you about too. So, the Knight family, that you said they influenced your style. So, is that kind of like the old school World of Sport, catch as catch kind of style?
To a degree, the style that they mainly pioneered with Jimmy Ocean and Ricky Knight back in the day, towards the end of the World of Sport era, was a mixture of British wrestling with cruiserweight action. Mm-hmm. So a lot of WAW matches that you will see, if it's two WAW guys who are homegrown, homebred, you will see that heavily influenced. Lots of holds, lots of technical wrestling, and then it will drop on a dime and it will just switch straight up to a cruiserweight sequence. Mm. So it's a different way of training, and it's something that I've tried to do over here, and not a lot of people are used to it. They don't think it makes sense, but if you were to go to a WAW show, you would sit there and be like, oh, actually, this does make sense.
And I know some UK promotions, I know not many probably do it now, but I used to be on like a round system. Have you ever wrestled a match where they did rounds?
I have, and I cut my head open doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Which is absolutely ridiculous. I did a rounds match at WAW against a gentleman called Steve Quintain, and in the last round he sidestepped me out of the ring, and on my way out my trailing foot caught the top rope and I landed headfirst on the apron, and my head just split open and started pouring with blood.
Oh man. I
look up over the apron, Saraya Knight is the first person I see, and she has this look on her face and she's mouthing at me, don't get back in my ring, don't get back in there, don't get blood on my canvas.
Yeah.
And I tried to mouth at her, we're going home. So I got back in, took the hip toss, took the pin, 1, 2, 3, and just rolled straight back out of there. And I was
Is that the first time you got busted open in a match?
Yeah, I believe it was, yeah. Probably the first and only time, actually, unintentionally, or intentionally for that matter.
And so, Loco, where did you do your training at?
Originally, I started in 2006 with Killer Kowalski.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
I did about 3-4 months there, and the back and forth from Syracuse up there was just crazy. So unfortunately, only being 16 years old, I was relying on my parents to get me there and back and forth, and it just didn't end up, working out there. So one of his students, Zachary Springate, Derek Martell, has a school right in Syracuse called Square Circle Wrestling. So I started training there. I did about a year and a half. Pretty much the same training that he went through. Learned it and paid my dues. First one there, last one out. Then after about 2 years of staying up there, the scene.
This podcast was interrupted by a member of staff from Hollister in the Gulf Mall in Newport Richie at the Coca-Cola machine, buying himself a nice, juicy drink. Is it going to hydrate you, sir? It's broke. Well, there's a food course around the corner, good sir.
Live podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
Back to the show.
Yeah.
So just, learn the ins and outs, learn respect and everything like that, especially for people that have been doing it a lot longer than you. I eventually moved down here, and I've just been going at it, every single year. Currently, I train with Matt Seidel in Largo, the WWN Training Center. So, and everything that I learned, especially recently from him, is just like worlds apart from what I learned before. Not to say, everybody has their own training methods. There's not a right or a wrong way.
Right.
There's just, this way and that way. Especially in wrestling, because there's so many different styles and so many different techniques and so many ways to execute them. So.
And Matt Seidel, that's a guy that's world travel. He's been in Japan. Obviously, he had a run in WWE. Did he kind of influence like your lucha-based high-flying style?
Not really. I hate to say that, but when I started training, I couldn't do any types of flips. I couldn't take a flip bump. I was scared to go on the top rope. It was like just jelly. I get up there, oh no, I don't want to do it. What really inspired me to do all that was honestly just like, seeing a lot of, when I first moved to Florida, there are a lot of indie wrestlers, my first indie program was FUW, and, there's a lot of guys that, were just like doing all this cool stuff. And I'm just like, man, I really need to get over myself because, 90% of this is actually mental. You know what I'm saying? 10% is physical. It's, if you can't get out of your own head, you can't, evolve yourself, then, you're not going to make it in this business. So, but Matt has helped, in the aspect of making me, be better than I was, make things crisper and learn different techniques and everything like that. So it's definitely nice to be able to, have that type of support system that not only wants you to, you to succeed, but, has your back when it comes to everything else.
Nice. Now so you guys are the international superstars. How long have you guys been tagging together? And also, you guys had a 3 Stages of Hell match against each other, just last month?
Yep.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was interesting. I was like, how are these guys tagging, together, and then they're having this war? Give us some background on what you guys are doing and everything like that.
We started tagging at WXW.
Yes, unintentionally.
Over in Mineola. Yeah, unintentionally. It was funny. Because Pops off of the Wild Samoan, he runs the show over there, and we did everything we're supposed to do. We went over there, we showed we wanted it, we broke down the ring setup, sat down, shut our mouths, and he was just like really impressed with us. So he put us together as a tag team. We didn't know what was coming, to be honest with you. It's just kind of taken off. And the 3 Stages of Hell match, that was at Revolt.
Yeah. That was a couple weeks ago.
And the best thing about having a tag team partner is that, when I want to punch him in the face, it's just more to him. I want to punch him in the face. I want to punch him in the face, and I want to throw him over the top rope.
He's right.
Realistically, that's the best type of match that you're gonna get, though. Realistically, it's two people that travel all the time together and know each other so well. He knows counters to moves that I do that some of these guys can't even see coming.
Right.
So it's like I have to up my game in order for, to get the best of him and vice versa.
Here's the thing as well, is like, last October at ACW, which is actually where we are tonight. We were doing a Bike Fest show at the back end of the summer. It was September? No, it was the beginning of October, wasn't it? I think. And end of October? Yep. Yeah. He was in a cage match and I stole one of his Blanco masks. Put a hood on, tracksuit bottoms. No one had any idea that it was me. Jumped the rail and slammed a cage door shut into his face when he was about to win the Cruiserweight Championship. The following night, did the same thing again. Came out at ACW the following Wednesday in a spare set of his gear. Got in a ring, got in his face. It's like, what the hell's going on here? It's like looking in the mirror. Flattened him, laid him out. Ran in again the following week with just the mask on. Laid him out, took off the mask, and obviously got that, oh crap, kind of reaction from the crowd. Because obviously no one expected me to turn heel on him. I then went back to the UK to finish off sorting all the things I needed to sort out to move out here. And while we were in the UK, we kept the feud going over the Atlantic with video promos, with them playing my music during his matches. And then I came back in December, at the beginning of December. First show back, we got straight back to it. We had a last man standing match at the beginning of February, wasn't it? Yep. Was it January? No, it's February, wasn't it?
It's February.
February.
Yeah.
We had
My Bloody Valentine.
Yeah, we had a non-sanctioned match, and it was literally bloody. We kicked the crap out of each other. He put me through tables. I powerbombed him onto a ladder. He threw me off the top of one ladder onto another ladder with the help from a steel chair. We literally beat the crap out of each other, and then here we are now tonight at ACW. We're going for the ACW Tag Team Championships, right. Which, if you came 5 months ago and someone said to you, yo, Blanco, Loco and Joey Ozbourne, they're going to go for the Tag Team Championships tonight and they're going to have like 120 people here, which I know it doesn't sound a lot, but for a Wednesday night in the building that we're running in, it's a brilliant, draw. No one would have believed you 5 months ago if you said they're going to go for the Tag Team Championships tonight, and there's a pretty damn good chance that they're going to, win them. But again, as he said, being tag team partners, we're around each other all the time. Like, we train together, we're on the road together. Any shows I go to, he's with me, and vice versa. And like he said, there are those times when we just want to, just like punch each other. Like we'll be driving and we'll be like, what do you want to do tonight? And I'm like, we'll just plan it when we get there. And he'll start like throwing out suggestions and ideas. So just to be a dick, I'm like, no, don't want to do it, don't want to do it, don't want to do it.
So you guys are pretty much like brothers.
Pretty much. Yeah. He starts getting wound up, and then he'll call a spot, and I won't understand it. So in my head, it doesn't make sense. I'm like, no, it doesn't make sense. He's like, it doesn't. I'm like, it doesn't. It does. It doesn't. It does. It doesn't. And we start getting like super hot with each other. And we then won't talk to each other for like half an hour, and I'm like, so explain this spot to me. How's it work? Oh yeah, that actually does make sense. And then we end up going and doing it. And like, I can just see him out of the corner of my eye. He's just like sat there like, you mother effer. I just want to kick you out of my car down Highway Nowheresville in the middle of freaking Alabama, make you walk home, you jackass. But that's what part of being a tag team is, because you're with each other all the time. You are going to have those moments where it's like, you know what, I'm done with you. Do one, It's bound to happen. That's what happens. But then at the same time, it's like he knows I have his back and vice versa. So
do you guys have a preference between working tag matches and working single matches? Is there the one that you like more than the other one?
Me, myself, I like doing both. It's nice to go out there in a singles match and have all the attention on you, all the shine on you. But then at the same time, when you work in a tag match, when you're in the ring, the attention again is on you and then on your tag team partner. And the even better thing about it is that when you tag out and you're stood on the rope, you get to have a break, man. It's the best thing in the world.
Yeah, catch your breath.
Yeah, catch your breath, especially for me, who's got no cardio whatsoever. So, yeah, tag matches are brilliant.
So I see that up until 2016, you were primarily working in the UK, right?
Yes.
And then you made the switch over here, about 2 years ago?
No, I came over here in March last year.
Okay.
And one thing kind of led to another in my personal life, which made me decide that, I want to be here. And also being in America, it suits me better. The lifestyle, the warm weather, mostly the good weather. Way better than England. And just the people here, I get on with the people here a lot better than I do in the UK because we're kind of on the same wavelength here. And obviously, being British, it helps me get, you know, a lot more work because, like, oh shoot, this guy is actually really British. Although I think like 90% of the people that I meet think I'm Australian. So.
I don't get that.
I don't get it either. I was unaware that I sounded like this all the time. You know what I mean? Go and get me a can of Foster's and put another shrimp on the barbie. Some lady thought I was Irish a couple of weeks ago. I'm like,
really?
I'm like, really? Do I sound like Conor McGregor to you? I can't do an Irish accent.
That was pretty good.
So if there's any Irish listeners that are offended, I'm sorry. Seamus, fella.
Our buddies from Scotland are gonna get a big kick out of that.
Yeah, we have some buddies, Ricky and Clyde. They do a show for us. They're from Scotland.
I better lay off on the Scottish accent then, I know. I don't want to piss off Ricky and Clyde. This no good son. Oh, sorry.
So you had a tryout match with Ring of Honor in 2016, a couple dark matches it looks like, and then this past year, from what I can see, you guys look like you're traveling more than ever, and you're doing shows for you know, WWN and FIP and stuff like that. So I mean, you know, tell us about like how things have kind of grown for you, and then also like what your career goals are as far as like, you know, where do you see this thing taking you?
So myself and Steve Carino, we get on really, really well. He came over to England a lot, and he wrestled for the Knights when I was over there. So we built a friendship from that. I went to America in 2016. I came out here for 2 weeks for my birthday. I just sent him a message saying, hey, I will more than likely be coming to the Ring of Honor show. I have my gear. If you need any help with anything, then feel free to let me know, because I will be more than happy to jump in the ring and do anything, even if it's just getting squashed. But a lot of the time, that's how you get booked in wrestling.
Yeah.
You just turn up, or you send the promoter a message, which has happened with Blanco several times. I've sent the promoter that he's going to be wrestling for a message saying, hey, just so you know, I will be riding with him to the show. I will bring my gear. If anything comes up, I would appreciate it if you would, you know, at least think about using me. And that's happened like 9 times out of 10, hasn't it, really?
Yeah, pretty much.
And I've been able to get work from it. So I went to the Ring of Honor show, shook hands with everyone, helped set up. I then was fortunate to get a 6-man tag dark match. Did that, went home, obviously came back out in March. In October last year, I went to NXT to do work as an extra. I wasn't used, and then, which, you know, on the one hand it sucked, but on the other hand it was cool because, you know, I just got to hang out with the NXT guys, some of whom I knew from the indies in the UK.
Was it one of the Full Sail tapings?
Yeah, it was a Full Sail taping, yeah. And then this past Thursday, just gone, we went, myself and Blanco went to Impact. He was there for like the whole week. I just went for the Thursday, and we just went there again, just on the offhand to see if we could get anything at all. And we got used in some backstage segments. He got smacked in the head with a kendo stick by Sam Callahan. Hopefully you'll put this out after that show airs, because I don't want to get, you know, told off for that.
Spoiler alert.
I mean, I don't know if you want to do another spoiler alert and tell them what you're doing next week, because I'm assuming this is going to be going out in a couple of weeks or so.
I mean, throughout my career, like I said, I've been really a mainstay with WAN and ACW, FIP. I've got to do some great things. I've been on Main News 9. Probably about 2 months ago, I was on the front cover of Tampa Bay Times.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
The Venice Times. I did a show for a cancer benefit show. And then next Wednesday and Thursday, I'll actually be at the NXT tapings.
Yes!
I got invited to do that. So that's going to be an experience. And I mean, it's just, I mean, as far as where it takes us, I mean, obviously, the end goal is WWE. So it's always, the end goal for anybody is always going to be WWE. That's what we want, and that's what we strive for. We strive for, to better ourselves, to get on that level. Because the thing about it is so many people nowadays automatically think that you're on that level. Well, if you were on that level, you'd already be there.
Absolutely.
And by any means, do I think I'm on that level? I think I'm getting there. I don't think I'm there yet. If I was, obviously, I wouldn't be sitting here with you gentlemen tonight. But I think I can speak for this. When we say that, we're going to get on that level.
I'm glad you mentioned WWE, because it seems like now with the current crop of guys that are wrestling on the independent, a lot more guys are kind of doing like the DIY approach and kind of like building their own brand. I mean, you got guys like the Young Bucks, they're in Hot Topic, they have their own company, they run out their garage selling merch. They're kind of building their own brand. They're doing All In September. So, they really don't, I mean, I'm sure if Vince gave them the right money, the right deal, they would go, but it seems like they're more interested in building their own brand and kind of being an alternative. What do you guys think about that, and would you ever consider, like, going that path?
Well, the irony is that we're already on that path. which is thanks to Blanco. I mean, in terms of the way we work together, I'm more of the gym guy, I'd say, who's, you know, thinking of like the different workouts, different things to do to try and, you know, shock our bodies to get the best possible, you know, quote unquote gains bra. So we can, you know, so I mean, like, obviously without sounding big-headed, we know that we look like wrestlers. And we know that when we walk out through the curtain, people think, oh shoot, these two guys look like wrestlers, which is fantastic. That's half the battle won. The other half of the battle is getting in the ring and actually conveying that you are a wrestler. So in terms of, you know, making us look like we should be in the ring, that's kind of on me. Now this dude, he turns up at a show a couple of weeks ago. He's like, hey, look what I got. And he opens this like 6'2" banner with his like face from like head down to like his waistline. And then it's got, you know, like t-shirt prices, picture prices and all this stuff. I mean, beforehand I was like, yeah, I'll get some t-shirts made in this. And then he's got like 10 or 12 different variations of pictures that he sells, and I just kind of sat there and I looked at it and I was like, I don't want to seem like I'm copying him, but I need to copy him.
Yeah.
Because I you know, I would try and sell like 8x10s and I might sell 1 or 2 in a show. Meanwhile, this guy is selling posters, he's selling 8x10s, he's selling t-shirts, he's selling trading cards. He's walking out, he's like, oh, I made X amount in merch. How much did you make? And I'm like, $5. So I can afford to get myself 5 McChickens on the way home. And if it's on the way back from Louisiana, those McChickens have to last. One every 2 hours.
Yeah, that was a long trip.
Yeah, but I mean, this guy, with the way that he thinks of like doing branding, and he's always coming up with like different merchandise ideas, like different things we can do. I use Photoshop a lot, so if there's like a logo that he's making, I will make it. Unfortunately for him, he has to get rather stressed out and poke and remind me.
He's a perfectionist guy.
It's not that. It's just that my memory is dreadful. I can get quite scatterbrained, and he'll send me a message after like 2 weeks saying, "Hey, have you done the logo?" I'm like, "What logo?" And he's like, "You were meant to do the logo like 2 weeks ago." I'm like, I'll do that right now. He rung me up a couple of weeks ago and he went mental at me for not doing a logo. He just like chewed me out and I'm just like, jeez, this guy. I turned to my girl, I'm like, he just had a go at me for doing this. And she's like, well, why didn't you do it? I'm like, I forgot to. She's like, go and get on the computer and do the fucking logo. I'm
so
like,
then she got on your case.
Yeah, so then she gets on his side. I'm like, well, I'm backed into a corner. I'm up a certain creek and I ain't got no paddle to get out. So yeah.
Branding's definitely the biggest thing right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I actually have a trademark for my name, Blanco Loco. So everything that I do, it's mine. You know what I'm saying? Nobody else can, you know, no copyright. I'm not worried about copyright infringement or anything like that. But like I said, we're just trying to step our game up every single way. You know what I'm saying? As soon as the international superstars came about, we turned around and we shot out shirts. We got t-shirts out now. You know, we got poster-sized posters, trading cards. You know, there's a lot more merch coming out. You know, and it's also about the social media aspect as well. So everything is on social media. You know? Right. So we're very careful about what we post, what we say, who we say it to. You know, at the same time, we're making sure that our pages aren't empty for too long. You know what I'm saying? So I see a lot of people post one thing and then they'll post another thing for like 3 or 4 days. We have, you know, I have specific time frames set up to where certain things get posted at certain times consistently throughout.
Right. You got like a schedule, like buffer, Hootsuite, one of those things, and just kind of send the tweets out throughout the day. Yeah.
Exactly.
I'll be sat at work and like I'll unlock my phone and it'll be like 15 notifications on Facebook. I'm like, oh, I'm popular.
I'm
I open up Facebook and like the first 3 notifications are Blanco Loco tagged Joey Ozbourne and the International Superstars in a post, and then the rest of them are like, so-and-so commented on the International Superstars photo, so-and-so likes it. I was like, oh, no one loves me. Just put the phone back down and get back to work. I'm like, damn. But I mean, like, again, he's awesome for doing that. I'm very, you know, lackadaisical on it, and you know, I shouldn't be. It's something that I'm trying to do more of. But like, he is like super hot on doing that. So I mean, if it wasn't for him, then we wouldn't have like 100% of the bookings we have, because he's a guy that busts his ass, is messaging promotions all the time, which again I need to do more of. And it is, you know, thanks to him 100% that we're going to places that we are going. I wasn't going to go and do the WWN weekend. I was like, I don't know if I can afford it. And he's like, you have to spend money to make money, which is absolutely true. You know, there's wrestlers, you know, right now that I can probably name 5 off the top of my head. We had an opportunity with Speedy Productions, he is an amazing photographer. Like He can take a picture of someone who's probably 120 pounds soaking wet, but he can make them look like a superstar. And we had the chance to go to the place where I work, set his lighting equipment up, his backdrop, have promo pictures taken. And I mean, me and him jumped on that with like both hands. You know, we literally pulled his hands off when he asked us to do it. He charged us hardly anything at all because he was coming back through on the way from doing a show, fest up in North Florida, isn't it?
Yeah.
My bad. Sorry. And like we got promo pictures done because as a tag team we didn't have any, so we needed them, and now we're able to sell them, and we've sold a shed load of pictures just as a tag team because they look good, they look professional. And then you have some people saying, oh well, I can't afford that, and it's like, if you can't afford it, then maybe go without 1 or 2 meals for a week, but spend that $20 that you were being asked to pay on getting promo pictures done, because if you get your promo pictures out there and they look good on a poster, you'll get booked on the fact that you have good looking gear and a good promo picture and a good physique. And if you don't have one of the three, at least if you have good promo pictures, you're winning the battle there, because then you can make that money back by selling 8x10s. You sell one 8x10 for $5, you sell 4, you've made your money back straight away, and then you're in profit, which not a lot of people understand, unfortunately. But again, it comes down to branding, and if you want to push yourself and succeed, that's why the Young Bucks can sit there and say, no, we don't want to go to WWE because we're doing fine as we are in the indies, because they brand themselves, as you said, they're in Hot Topic, they have all these different Bullet Club t-shirts coming out, they keep themselves in the mainstream, spotlight all the time.
Right. And so I want to hear some travel stories. I know you guys have been joining. You've been like France and did a lot of stuff in Europe. Yeah. You have any like fun or crazy like travel stories you can share with us?
The first one that springs to mind was with Sean O'Reilly. He's one of the guys down here at ACW. So we were going to Revolt when we had the 3 stages of Hell match, and I texted the promoter saying, hey, we're bringing one of the WWN camera guys up. He's going to record the match if it's okay with you, because we want to get it on YouTube. We want to get as much good looking footage as we can out there. So if the WWE are looking at us, then they can see crisp, clean footage from a guy who knows what he's doing with the camera, because the guy's footage has been used by WWE before. Yeah. So obviously he's very good at what he does. So I send the promoter a message saying, hey, we're going to bring our camera guy along, blah, blah, blah. He's like, have you got Sean O'Reilly? And we're like, no. And he's like, well, he was booked. And I was like, oh, I'm very, very sorry. We did not know. He didn't tell us. And he was like, no, I'm just joking with you. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to pick this ball up now and I'm just going to start running for the end zone. So I send Sean a message. I'm like, yo, you were booked. And he's like, what? I'm like, you were booked. He's like, no, I wasn't. He's like, yeah, you were. He's like, was I? I'm like, yeah, you were booked. You are needed on this show. Where are you? Why didn't you let us know that you were coming? And he was like, they said I wasn't needed, and he got really wound up about it, really wound up. And I think I just sent him one message, just like, do you want to be a professional wrestler? You need to follow up all your bookings, follow them all up. And he was like, man, I'm really sorry, I need to do this, I need to do that, blah, 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 blah. And then we saw him the following Wednesday. I was like, oh, Sean, by the way. He's like, what? I'm like, that was a rib. And he's like, y'all are the worst. You guys are the worst.
Oh, man.
Off the top of my head, I can't think of any from the UK, apart from having to run miles if I went too short in a match, which is just, it's like a standard punishment on the UK circuit, the old school UK circuit. And obviously that was a WAWA. I went too short in a match. I had to run a mile in the middle of the summer up a hill. That was horrible. Man, as I've said, no cardio. That's the only time I had to run a mile, I think, and I made sure it was the last one I ever had to run. What about you? Can you think of any?
Loco, any crazy stories?
Well, I mean, apart from if you can imagine this, if there's a Dunkin' Donuts on the way to a show.
Oh no!
just make sure. I don't like pulling. If I'm traveling, man, if I'm going south and there's not a Dunkin' Donuts on the right hand side to pull into, I'm not going to the left hand side. So delirious Joey Osbourne.
I wasn't delirious. I was hungry. I was angry, man.
He was hangry, yeah.
But jamming out to Barbie Girl and
Eiffel 65, Spice Girls, Boyzone, the whole lot of it.
We definitely make it fun. I mean, the worst part, honestly, is just to drive home.
Absolutely.
99% of the time, especially if a show runs late. Yeah. We have a great time on the road. It's just,
it is just a drive home, because on the way there, you're
awake.
Yeah, and you're looking forward to the show. You're looking forward to getting it done. And then you finish the show and it's like, right, let's get home. And the first hour, 2 hours of the drive, it's fantastic because you're talking about the show, you're talking about what happens, and then after that, the talk all dies down, and then someone will fall asleep, and then someone else will fall asleep, and in the end, you're the driver on your own, and it just gets to the point where you're literally just looking at the road, looking at the GPS, looking at the road, looking at the GPS, you're counting down the miles, or you're counting down the minutes, and that's probably the worst bit of the journey, when you end up counting down the minutes till you get home.
To be fair, though, Brandon Martin, he's the head of WWM production.
He is the best.
The best
shotgun driver in the world. He is a top DJ.
From New Orleans all the way home, he stayed awake
the entire time.
Never fell asleep.
10 hours straight through. We stopped once or twice for food, and he was just wide awake.
Yeah. So you mentioned, back in Europe, and obviously right now the scene in like the UK is like really, really hot. It hadn't been for years throughout like the 90s and the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Obviously, you coming over here, do you feel like you're missing out on what's going on over there? Because you did say that you're being from the UK, it gives you kind of like an edge, and you like that you're kind of like a special attraction being over here. But do you feel like you're missing out on what's going on over there, or why is it so popular right now?
Other guy, what? Sorry, progress. Oh yeah. So no, I don't really miss that. Okay. I don't feel I'm missing out purely because in the UK, with it being a lot smaller than over here. If you're in the right circles of people in locker rooms, then you get on Defiant, you get on PCW, you get on Progress, you get on OTT, you get on ICW, and you make a name for yourself in the UK that way. However, if you're one of these people, like myself, that wasn't in the circles of the people like Pete Dunne, like Will Ospreay, like Mark Andrews, Hitch, Flash Morgan Webster, Jimmy Havoc, all these guys who are known in the UK, if you're not in that circle, you kind of get shunted to the side, and people don't know who you are, they don't pay attention to you. Case in point, as Blanco was just saying, New Orleans, Progress were over there, Jim and Glenn were there, and we did a seminar with Robbie Brookside, Gabe Sapolsky, so it was like WWN/NXT seminar/tryout, and Jim Smallman watched the whole seminar, and I didn't even recognize him. Like, he was just sat there wearing a baseball cap, just keeping quiet, just watching the whole thing super intently. So I thought, this guy might be a promoter, who knows who he is. He was wearing a CCK t-shirt, so I assumed he had something to do with wrestling. And then I saw him in the hotel. Was it the reception we saw him the next day? Yeah, it was the next morning we saw him down in the front area of the hotel, sorry. And I said to him, hey, I'm Joey. He's like, oh, hey, yeah, we saw you at the seminar yesterday. He's like, why don't we know about you? And I was kind of like throwing him back. I was like, sorry. He's like, you're English. I'm assuming you don't live here. I'm assuming you live in England. Why don't we know about you? We watched you at the seminar. You and Blanco stood out miles ahead of everyone else. You're a fantastic wrestler. Why have we never booked you? So, well, first of all, I now live just north of Tampa. And he was like, damn it! And like he was like visibly peed off that I didn't live in the UK anymore. And I said, but with all due respect and honesty, the amount of times I messaged the Progress page, try and add you or Glenn on Facebook, try and get like my CV over to you guys must have just never picked it up because of the amount of messages that you get inundated with, because Progress now work with WWE and it's no secret, everyone knows it.
Right.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to get on Progress. Progress is the new all-star wrestling of the United Kingdom. All-Star were huge in the 80s, early 90s. Progress have now kind of not so much taken their spot, but they're the guys who are now the front runners in the world of wrestling in England. And he said, he was like, look, man, if you're ever over in the UK, you're booked. We're coming back out here in the summer. We are going to use you on our show. Send us some of your footage and we'll use you. They were both happy with what I did. They liked my look, and they said the same about him, bring him as well. We'll use him. And I mean, I said to him on the way over for the weekend, I was like, how ironic would it be if I get booked on Progress on that week, while they're there? How ironic would that be? That I've had to move to the United States to get booked for Progress.
That's crazy.
And now, essentially, it's more than likely going to happen in the summer when they do. I think Chicago, New York, Philly, and somewhere else. I forget the other city. Detroit, I think. Yeah. It's kind of like an irony, but at the same time, it's kind of like, I left everything that I had in the UK, came over here with 2 suitcases, little bit of money, and then I've just tried to grind and hustle as much as I can, really. And if it pays off, it pays off. And if it doesn't, I know that I've tried as hard as I can.
Nice. One other question. So, you talked about like training and stuff like that. So tell us, obviously, like I see what you post. You post a lot about your workouts. What's your like training philosophy and like, what you guys do to be able to do what you do in this industry?
We train like bodybuilders. So heavy to medium, heavy weights, low reps, kind of stretch out at the end and do more reps with a slightly lighter weight just to, finally like burn the muscles out that we're working. We do 5-day splits, chest, shoulders, back, arms and legs. Not so many legs. We do not skip leg day. We just do not die on leg day.
Leg day is horrible.
Leg day is not the one. But I mean, we basically leave everything we have in the gym 9 times out of 10. I mean, the only times where we will not go absolutely crazy in a workout is if we have a show that day. We just want to go in there, get the muscles loose, get the blood flowing, so that when we're backstage and we're warming up for the show that we're doing that evening, it doesn't take as long to get the blood flow going, and we walk out looking slightly better than we did like 8 hours prior to that. In terms of in-ring training, Blanco does a hell of a lot more than I do because his schedule kind of allows for him to do that. Mine doesn't, which I really wish it did, but I'm just in an unfortunate position that it just doesn't. So, I mean, he's always saying to me, you should try this move, you should try that move. I'm like, and it kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier on about when we're in the car, let's try this and this and this. He's like, you should try this move. I'm like, no, I won't be able to do it. Like, he says to me on the way to the first Alabama show, no, the first, it was a show we did in, what was it, Crestview? Crestview. He was like, you should do a full Nelson, flip them out into a flatliner kind of bump. And I was like, I don't think I'll be able to do it. He's like, yeah, you will, you're doing it. So I'm like, okay. And I did. I'm like, right, I've stolen that. So.
During training, really, I mean, like I said, I train with Matt Seidel most Mondays and Wednesdays. I mean, it's all about learning the basics, man. I mean, there's no substitute for the basics. I mean, chain wrestling is one of the biggest, most important things that you can do in this business, because if you're going out there, anybody can go out there and, do the flips, do the dives and everything like that. It's cool, don't get me wrong. Fans like it, but, a real wrestling match is about wrestling. It's not called professional flipping, professional diving, professional, back handstand. It's called professional wrestling.
It's about telling a story, isn't it?
Exactly. And that's one of the main things that, I learned from that is, how to wrestle. It's the most important aspect of it.
Nice. So if it's cool with you guys, we got 2 more questions, and then maybe we can go into a quick rapid fire round, just like quick answers, and then we'll get you guys out of here.
Can I just go and get my filter on for that? I'm joking.
So as far as like anyone who would be considering going into this industry, like what advice do you have for those looking to get into wrestling?
Keep your eyes open, your ears open, your mouth shut, and keep what is in your pants in your pants. Absolutely 100%.
Pay your dues. Pay your dues. I mean, there's too many people nowadays. They come in, they have 1 or 2 matches, and they think that they're automatically superstars. There's nothing wrong with having that mentality, but learn where you are in the food chain. You know what I'm saying? It's a big stepping stone from Triple H down to I've had a couple matches. You know what I'm saying? So learn where you are. Break the ring down. Set the ring up. Ask the promoter what I can do to help.
Be a runner.
Young boy.
Go.
Yeah,
be a young boy.
I for the past 3 WrestleManias, except for this last one, but for Texas, that's all I was. I was a runner. You know what I'm saying? I ran. I got things for Sal. I got things for Gabe. Trevin. Everybody like Orlando. Same thing. Run. I was picking guys up from the airport. Same thing even in New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? I picked up Keith Lee, brought him to the airport, dropped his girlfriend off. You do those things because
it's going to get you places.
It's not even just that though. It's because it's respect value. Keith Lee just got signed to WWE today.
Yeah.
And do I think that's gonna get my career anywhere? No. But what the thing is, it's about being a good brother and helping people out. Otherwise he would have had to take a $200 freaking cab to get to the airport.
Yeah.
So it's like this business isn't about just you. It's about the people around you. It's a family.
That's awesome.
If you don't feel like that, then you're in the wrong business.
Always take chances as well.
Yes.
Even if you know that it's never going to go anywhere, like I knew realistically going to Mania weekend this year that I wasn't going to get on Evolve. I knew I wasn't going to get on Mercury Rising. I knew I wasn't going to get on any of the quote unquote big shows that were going on. But I spoke to Paro outside of Mercury Rising, the Super Show where I saw you guys, and he says to me, he's like, I was in your shoes this time last year, and now look at me. I've just done Progress, I've just done Mercury Rising, I've just done Evolve, I've just come back from going over to the UK doing Good Morning Britain. You know, in the year separation, he's kind of gone like an entire 180 and his career's just taken off. And he says to me, if someone like me can go from being where you are now to where I am now, then there's no reason why you should not be in my position next year. You should 100% be in my position next year because you have, you know, the talent and the ability to do it. You know, it's about taking chances. Like, I've been doing the job for 10 years. Like, one of the first things I said to him was, I'm not going to go to New Orleans if I'm not going to be wrestling. And that was a lot of my mentality when I first started coming to America, was I'm not going to go on the road to a show if I don't get booked. But from going on the road to shows when I wasn't booked and there was no guaranteed booking and picking up a booking and then being said, you know what, we're going to bring you back. You know, if you don't take those chances, you won't get anywhere. You know, life is about taking chances. And if you don't take chances, so I don't want to be sat in an armchair at the age of 60 thinking, man, what if I just taken that one chance? What if I gone to New Orleans for the Mania weekend? You know, it could have been so much different. So I don't want to be sat there at 60 with like what ifs in my head. I want to be sat there at 60 if I don't make it, saying to myself, you know what, you tried as hard as you could, you did everything you could. 30 years from now, if I know 30 years from now when I'm 60, if I've done everything I can to try and get there and I don't succeed, I know that I've done everything I can and it just wasn't meant to be for me. Nice. I'd rather go to the grave thinking, you know what, I've got no regrets because I tried my hardest, and going to the grave thinking, man, I wish I'd have tried that, because you only get one life.
Exactly. All right, so before we go into the rapid fire questions, tell people where they can find your matches, where they can find you on social media, and just, you know, learn more about you guys.
I'll get mine out of the way first because it's super easy to know. Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook are all at Joey Ozbourne. Ozbourne is spelled the same way as Ozzy Osbourne, but with a Z, instead of an S. YouTube, Joey Osbourne TV. And I will hand over to Blanco to give you the 500 different handles that he has.
The branding man.
I tried to be a little bit different. Instagram, you can find me, Loco Lucha 360. Twitter is at Real Blanco Loco. Facebook is obviously Blanco Loco. And YouTube is 340 Sage. And I mean, our next couple of weeks are kind of, you know, built up. We got ACW today.
Yep.
Friday we have, I really hate to say this, but I got to put the show over. It's in Orlando at the Sausage Castle.
All right.
Saturday we'll be at WXW with Off the Wild Samoan.
Yes.
Sunday there's Punk Pro Wrestling right back here at the Gulfview Event Center. The following week,
ACW again.
we have ACW again.
We have Revolt Pro Wrestling.
ACW.
I have ACW.
I have NXT Wednesday and Thursday.
Spoiler.
Spoilers.
We'll make sure to drop this
Friday,
after
we're
that.
back here at ACW for the Selena Del Rente. What is it?
It's a fundraiser show because the poor little soul has gone and completely ruptured her knee. So she's having a fundraiser show to help support herself while she's out of action. Yep. We hope you get back to the ring early, darling. Saturday,
May 12th,
we're Revolt.
We're off to Revolt in Alabama.
We are indeed.
And then we are making in June 23rd. We're making our Wildcat debut in New Orleans. So that's a big one coming up.
On an over 21 show, which means Joey Ozbourne gets to turn off his filter. And if you want to know what I sound without a filter on, I highly suggest you go and watch Bronson starring Tom Hardy. If there's any Tom Hardy lady fans out there, you do get to see him completely naked with no blurry over his bits.
So check that out, ladies.
You also get a British vocabulary like you probably haven't heard before. You've heard it.
All right, so I'm just going to ask you some quick rapid fire questions, kind of either or. So starting off, DX or NWO?
DX.
DX, yes.
Rock or Stone Cold?
Rock.
Omega or Okada?
Okada.
Omega.
Ric Flair or Hogan?
Flair.
Okay. Raw or Nitro?
Raw.
Nitro.
I never watched Nitro. I just watch Raw, so.
All right, WWE or NWA?
WWE for me. It's what I was brought up on.
Yeah, WWE. That's a tough one. That's definitely a tough one.
If we can say WWF, it.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
William Regal or Dave Taylor?
Regal.
Can I say both? I'm saying both, just in case either or are listening to this. Both.
By the way, Blanco Loco did say Regal.
Smart man. Daniel Bryan or Nigel McGuinness?
Nigel. Yeah, Nigel. That's a hard one.
Yeah.
Hot take.
Damn.
The Legion of Doom or Demolition?
Legion of Doom.
Demolition.
Ooh. The Rockers or the Midnight Express?
Rockers.
Midnight Express.
Wow.
We can no longer be friends.
So let me ask you guys real quick, like real
I don't
simple
want to go through a
questions.
barbershop window.
Before you got in the business, what's your favorite match of all time?
I'd have to say Guerrero and Mysterio, Halloween Havoc.
Nice.
Oh, nice. That was a great one.
I remember watching that. That was good. I watched it back in a rerun because I wasn't watching wrestling at that time. Probably mine, I guess, would have been The Rock against Angle when he won the strap at No Way Out, 2001. And then later it's kind of gone to Rock and Austin at Mania 17. However, 14-year-old me couldn't stand to sit there and watch for 40 minutes and then see The Rock get screwed over by Stone Cold and Mr. McMahon. I just literally had like a mental block on watching that match for the longest time possible.
Yeah.
And then I put my big boy pants on and I just went and watched the match. I was like, actually, it's a good match. But Stone Cold's still an asshole.
What's your favorite personal match that you've had?
Personal match. Huh.
So
Recently or in general?
For you,
Your
for
whole,
you
your
in
whole,
general,
your
for
whole career. Yeah.
Can we do recently and in general?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Or like one from recent and one from the past?
Yeah.
Can we do that?
Yeah.
In general, this is tough. Really tough.
I've got mine too if you want to still thinking,
Go
yeah.
ahead.
So recently, not to, get my nose any more browner than it already is, would be the 3 stages of hell match with this gentleman sat next to me, and also the non-sanctioned match from the ACW My Bloody Valentine show, just purely because they were 2 different types of matches. One was just an all-out beat the living daylights out of each other, and the other one was actually like, both matches told a story, but the 3 Falls match told like a really good story, and it was paced and we took our time, and it went 40 minutes, but it was like, in my opinion, obviously I'm going to say it's because it was me in the match, it was a very good 40-minute match.
Yeah.
And then my favourite match from the past would be against Roy Knight from Epic Studios in Norwich. It was a match that was literally just thrown together on a day, but it was a match where, in my opinion, I had at that time the best match of my career to date. As they say, everything just clicked. And I've worked Roy like a shell load of times, and Roy and his brother Zach are 2 people who I really miss working in the UK. They're not so much underrated, but they're the most undervalued tag team probably in the world. They should be in every country in the world. They genuinely should. They're just 2 top workers, and they're 2 top guys as well. In addition to the rest of the family, they're all just lovely.
All right, Loco.
So I'm gonna go first with that unsanctioned match. That was one of my favorite recent ones.
Painful too.
Texas Mania week. I got to wrestle. I was the Silver Potato in Kaiju versus Drew Gulak, who was Dr. Q.
Oh,
nice.
wow. Gulak was Dr. Q?
Kota Ibushi was in our match as well.
Oh, wow.
So that's one of the past favorite matches. And then I'd have to say I was actually in a tag team a couple years ago called Lucha Chaos. My partner Carry On. So that would definitely have to rank up there too at Man of Professional Wrestling and Kiss Me. So that'll definitely rank up there.
Who's your dream opponent from the past and your current dream opponent?
Well,
Past is easy. I think you're going to say the same.
Rock.
Happy birthday, by the way, if you happen to be listening to this. Wow, we sound like marks.
Happy birthday, Rock!
Yeah, definitely. If I could wrestle one guy from the past, it would definitely be him.
I had to say Ospreay.
Oh,
Okay.
that'd be a fun
Only because I
match.
got to spend the weekend with him, and I was like, you know what, we could have some fun. We could definitely have some fun.
I can't think who I'd want to wrestle at the minute, just because there's just so many guys.
I would love to see you against Pete Dunne.
Or Walter.
Yeah, Walter.
Oh man.
Why are you trying to get him killed?
So you want that man's chest to cave in?
He's got a big enough chest.
We went to, well, obviously we were there working at Joey Janela's spring break, and Walter had PCO in a match.
Oh, that match was awesome.
PCO came out with a black chest.
Yeah.
So for that reason, thank you, but I would not like to work Walter in case I lose my, in case my tiny chest gets battered. I would say probably Keith Lee.
Oh yeah.
I would have fun. Matt Riddle, who,
King of Bros,
quote unquote, is a bro.
He's a good bro.
He's a bro. As you said, Pete Dunne, I have worked Pete years ago in the past back in the UK. I would love to work him again. They're just like a list that if I sat here and compiled it, it would be like as long as a table as it was sat at now. It would just be ridiculous because, you know, every wrestler should want to work as many people as they can.
Yeah.
You know, because the more people you work with different styles, the better wrestler it makes you at the end of the day.
Who have you been in the ring with that you learned the most from?
The Knights. For me, the Knights.
How about for you, Blanco?
Lindsay Dorado.
Oh, nice. 205 Live Star, yeah.
Definitely, I definitely learned and give him credit for a lot of things. Still helped me change my direction.
Favorite finishing move of all time?
My current one, the elbow drop.
Nice.
I definitely.
I guess mine has got to be the most electric. No. Yes, actually, yeah. Probably the People's Elbow, just because of the sheer theatrics and stupidity of it. It should not be a finishing move, but the fact that it has put so many people down just like pops the living daylights out of me. So, and obviously it's done by The Rock.
Right, so we're getting close to start time here for ACW. We want to thank you guys again for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
You will have to come on the road with us one day.
Oh, dude.
We will definitely go.
And either bring a camera, which we can attach to the front windshield, as long as it's not getting in the way of what we're trying to look at, being the road.
I got like 3 different.
You've got a couple of mounts actually, haven't you, that we can use?
Well, I got not the mounts. I got the cameras.
True.
Honestly, there's a lot of things.
You can film like road diaries with us if you want to.
We're so limited on time, but there's so many other things that I'm like cutting it out. I'm like, oh, we can't cover that. We don't got time. But dude, thank you guys for coming on this show.
If you want to follow up, you're more than welcome to have a follow up.
Oh,
absolutely.
We'll definitely take that offer.
Lovely. Sorry, people, you have to hear my mundane British voice again.
Well, good luck to you guys tonight.
Thank you very
much. Good luck in your title match, and we will be seeing you next time.
Awesome. Thank you. See you soon.